Hey everyone, it's Kara here from Boho and I am so excited today. I have been teasing this video for about a week now, and it's finally here, and I finally get to show you my WorkBox 3.0 from the original scrap box. I have been eyeballing this craft cabinet for the last almost 2 years and saving up for it for almost as long. When I first saw it online, I was like, I need this in my life. I need this in my office. And when I looked at the price tag, I was a little shocked. It was a little much. And I decided right then and there, I was like, is this something that I need? Is this something that I truly want? And I decided, yes, it was. So I started saving little by little, and finally, a couple of weeks ago, I was able to order it. So I'm so excited to give you a tour and to show you around a little bit, show you how I've set it up. I do have a full blog post over on my blog today as well. The link is in the description box of this video. If you want more information about the cost, the setup, assembly, all those other things, you can check that out there. Today, I'm just going to be showing you what's in my WorkBox. Let's do it. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start just by showing you kind of the top half, and then we'll move down to the bottom section. And on the far left here, you can see I have a bunch of bottled inks. These are all fountain pen inks. And then on these top shelves, I have more inks. There are a lot of samples and things like that. I have these little vial holders that I got from Goulet Pens, and these are for holding ink samples. So I have a few of those. I actually have one up top here that's completely empty. And then on the very top as well, I have a few more ink bottles, some that wouldn't fit in the door. And then I have some pen cleaning supplies and things like that. After that, I have this drawer, which contains my American Cursive handwriting course from Michael Sull. I love this thing. I've been working through it slowly but surely, but it's all about learning American Cursive handwriting. And you'll notice that I've kind of set everything up in categories or in groups. So I know that if I'm going to do writing or calligraphy, I come to this left side of my WorkBox. So after that, I have some different papers and stationery for when I'm writing letters. And then in this drawer right here, I have all of my pencils. So I have a bunch of colored pencils, my Prismacolors. I have this pencil roll that I found on Amazon. This has a bunch of Staedtler pencils in it. And then in the door here, I have some of my dip pens for calligraphy. I have oblique pen holders, a glass dip pen, and then these, which I haven't gotten to try yet, but I'm really excited. These are FinTech metallic watercolors. These are the pearls. I also ordered the golds so that I can try them out. So I'm really excited to give these a try. All right, moving on to the center, I have all of these small bins here. This is where I have the most space still available in my WorkBox. I did not manage to fill the whole thing up with everything that I have, but all of my space that's empty is mostly in these smaller bins, but I do have a few of them full. So on this top shelf, I have some extra ink bottles that wouldn't fit in there. I have some Q-tips for when I do my ink swabs for my fountain pens. I have some empty little jars in this one. This is where I'll keep my calligraphy ink when I'm dipping to write. I have a little pen case here from Knock Co. This doesn't have anything in it, but just a little roll-out pen case for when I travel. I've got more letter writing supplies. I've got some extra ink cartridges for fountain pens. I have my wax seal set, and then I have my little container of nibs for all of my dip pens for calligraphy. And then this is for all of my binder clips and paper clips. So I've got a bunch of those in there. And one last one with some Post-it notes, some little book darts, and more paper clips. All right, moving to the center. Okay, so we're at the center of my WorkBox now. And again, I've kind of categorized everything by what I'm going to be doing. I have this top shelf is for letter writing, actually these two top shelves. So here I have mail that has been sent to me at my P.O. box that I have not answered yet. So anytime I have time, I'll grab one of these and write a reply to the letter. And then in this container, I have a bunch of note cards, stamps, and envelopes. And then after that, I have this brown wooden box that my husband got me for Christmas. I absolutely love it. It's empty right now, but I'm planning on storing more letter writing supplies in there. And then on this bottom shelf, I have all of my Leuchtturm notebooks. I know I'm saying that wrong. But yeah, so I have all of my past bullet journals here. I have my NaNoWriMo notebook where I was handwriting my novel last year. I have my NaNoWriMo prep bullet journal. I have a bunch of different things. I have the Some Lines a Day journals. This is a 5-year journal from Leuchtturm. And I have one that I use as kind of a daily journal, just jotting down what happened that day. And then I use the blue one as a gratitude journal. So I write down a few lines of what I'm grateful for that day. And then the orange one I haven't used yet. I'm actually giving that as a gift. And then these taller notebooks right here, these are the B5 size. I use these for larger projects. So I actually have one for my handwriting course when I was planning that out. I have one for the summer shift, which is the coaching program I'm doing this summer that I'm participating in, not running. And then I have another notebook for hiking the Appalachian Trail, which is a big dream of mine and something I'm starting to plan out. All right. After that, on the top here, I have a ton of pens, markers, and kind of jelly pens that were sent to me by Sakura. A lot of you may know them as Pigma, like Pigma Microns and things like that. They sent me a huge box of goodies for review. I haven't had time to do it yet, but I have all of their information here that they sent me about all of the pens that they sent my way. So keep an eye out. I'll be doing reviews on some of their pens here pretty soon. And after that, I have just a little bin for some of my photography stuff. I have my HP Sprocket photo printer. I have extra paper and some lenses for my Instax camera. And then I have all of my pens and markers. Now, I know this looks like a lot of pens and markers, but it's actually not all of my pens and markers. So I'm currently toying around with some ideas of what I can do with the rest of my pens and markers. These are just the ones that I use the most. So in order, I'll just point them out real quick. I have my Papermate flares. I have Sharpie art pens. I have the Papermate Inkjoy gel pens. I have Faber-Castell brush pens. I have the Pentel Sign brush pens. Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners. I have some Friction erasable pens. I have the Zebra mild liners. And then I have the Tombow Twin Tone dual tip markers, and then Tombow dual brush pens, and then all of my black felt tip pens. These are mixed brands in here. So I have Faber-Castell, I have Tombow, I have Staedtler, I have a few different others, but these are just all of my black felt tip pens. All right, moving on to the other side. All right, so on the right hand side in the center console, I have a bunch of my tools. So here I have some paper punches, I have a corner rounder, and a hole punch for Filofax. I also have a saddle stitch stapler in this top drawer, a label maker, and then my water spritzer and a little stamp that I like. And then on the right hand side here for notebooks, these are mostly unused notebooks. So I have a few Traveler's notebooks here, 2 from Chic Sparrow, 1 from Foxy Fix. I have a bunch of blank inserts and then some other random blank notebooks. I also have this little tray here for little random stuff that I need somewhere to put it. And then I also have my, I've got a ruler propped up in there. All right, then I also have this folder which contains all of my uninked fountain pens. So I keep all of my pens that are not inked up in this. So these are all the ones that I have that don't have any ink in them right now. The rest of my fountain pens that are inked up are in my pen case. All right, and then this long ruler, I couldn't find anywhere to put it. It doesn't have a hole in it to hang it, so I might try to drill one, but for now I've just been propping it up right here. All right, so moving along to the right-hand side, I have a lot more empty bins here in the middle, these smaller bins. I do have some knickknacks and stuff like that in here. I have some leather cord that I use for various projects. I have a bunch of correction tape and adhesive tape, scotch tape, stuff like this in here. And then I have some little pen tools. These go with the Silhouette Cameo, which I'll show you in a bit, but these are where you can have the Silhouette draw and write for you. So these are pens that fit in that slot. All right, and then the big bins on this side, I just have a bunch of kind of random stuff. On the far right, you'll see that I have a bunch of paints. So I wanted to keep this side mostly for painting. So on the top here, I do have some scrapbook paper. I have my old Filofax, which I love so much, but I don't know what to do with right now. I've got some Ollie clips, little magnetic bookmarks I decided to put here until I want to use them. And then this drawer is all for watercolor paper. So I have a bunch of different watercolor papers and sketchbooks in this drawer. And going down, we have a bunch of my dry watercolors. So I have my, I'm gonna say it wrong, Kuretake Gambi watercolor set. I also have some watercolor pencils and then a few different small travel size watercolor sets. I have one from Winsor & Newton and then two of the Confections by Prisma in here. Moving down, I have more watercolors. These are my tube watercolors. It was just a little set that I picked up at Michael's, one of those little getting started with watercolor things. And then I also have a roll of paper towels. I know it's kind of weird to have paper towels in a craft cabinet, but I find myself needing them all the time. So I thought that it would be handy just to put one in here in one of the drawers. All right, and finally, the right-hand side of the door, I have my distress stains from Tim Holtz. I have a bunch of concentrated watercolors from Dr. Martens, and then I have a bunch of acrylic paint, and then all of my watercolor brushes. I have some glues here in the cubby, and these are all my silhouette tools for weeding vinyl. And then finally, hanging, I have some other tools. So I have a couple pairs of scissors, my rotary cutter, my bone folder, and then I don't know if you can see these or not, but I have some more acrylic paints. These are like the metallic acrylic paints. All right, it's time to move down to the bottom. Here we go. All right, so excuse me as I crawl around on the floor with you. I'm going to show you the bottom half of the right side next. And here I have a bunch more silhouette stuff for my Cameo, my cutter. I have a bunch of random papers. I have accessories in this drawer. I have two full bins of rolls of vinyl that I'm going to play around with. And then on the very bottom, I have some knitting supplies. I don't knit a whole lot anymore or crochet a whole lot anymore, but I have a ton of yarn. I could probably fill this whole cabinet with nothing but yarn. So I just put in some of the ones that I kind of had out already and laying around. I put in some yarn here, and then all of my knitting needles, crochet hooks, and notions are in the bottom drawer here. I do have bins and bins of yarn in storage that I need to figure out a solution for, but that's a problem for another day. All right, and then on the right-hand side, I have two bars here for all of my washi tapes. It's not near all of my washi tape. I'm actually gonna bring the rest and probably organize it in one of these drawers. And then at the very bottom, I have a watercolor pad that wouldn't fit in the drawers because it was so large. And then I also have my scoring tool. So this is a board where I can score to fold paper and stuff like that. All right, up next we have the center. And as you can see on this top shelf, I actually have my Silhouette Cameo. This is the one that I keep at home for personal use. I keep that right down here. There is actually a hole at the back of this shelf where you can run a cord through. So I actually have a power strip that goes through there so I can plug in any electronics that I need while I'm working at this table. And then in addition to that, I just have a couple of ball mason jars with some random pens and then a little bit of decor. All right, and on the very bottom, I'm hoping you can see all this. That's as low as my tripod goes. I just have some extra storage. So I have reams of paper, I have some of my laminating sheets, I have some sample paper that I ordered, and I also have my paper trimmer and my laminator under there too. And then finally, on the left-hand side, I have a bunch of all of my calligraphy inks. So these are Bombay India inks in all the different colors. I have some walnut ink, some sumi ink, and all of these smaller bins right here are empty on this side. I also have a pad of calligraphy practice paper. I have all of my rulers and compass, protractor, things like that in this one drawer. This drawer actually contains some gift boxes from Tombow. They sent me some things to review recently, so I loved the boxes so much. I thought they were so pretty. I just wanted to keep them. So I'll probably repurpose them. For now, I just have them sitting in this drawer. And then this shelf just contains some random little mini like field notes, personal size, different little mini notebooks that I have collected over the years, and also a scale in case there's anything that I need to weigh for shipping and things like that. And then on the very bottom, I have a few more of these scattered around the house, but they're little spotlights, so I'm gonna keep those in there. If there's anything I'm working on that I need a brighter light on, I can plug those in. All right, y'all, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed getting a look inside my WorkBox. I do want to remind you, I do have that blog post up today. If you want some up-close pictures, if you want information about the assembly and how much it costs and all those sorts of things, I'll have all that information on the blog for you. And I also have some pictures on the blog of the rest of my office, which I'm going to be doing a tour on very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I really look forward to seeing you all again on Friday. Bye!